Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be talking about reframing negative thinking. I decided on this topic after I saw the Giannis Antetokounmpo post-game interview. If you haven't seen it, it's circulating on LinkedIn. And if you would like to see, just let me know, and I'll post a link to it in the comments down below. Negative thinking is a common challenge that many of us face on a daily basis, whether it's worries about the future, regrets about the past, or judgmental thoughts about ourselves or others. Negative thoughts can be incredibly draining and can lead to depression, anxiety, sadness. But the good news is that we can learn to reframe our negative thoughts in a way that's more helpful and empowering. One technique that can be useful for reframing negative thinking is cognitive restructuring. I started doing this years ago, right? This involves identifying negative thoughts and then challenging and reframing them with a more positive, realistic thought process. So, for example, if you find yourself thinking, I am such a failure. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I struggle with failure for almost all my life. So, failure is such a thing for me. So, if you find yourself saying, I'm such a failure, you can reframe that thought process by reminding yourself of the past successes and reminding yourself that failure is a normal part of the learning process, which is what Giannis tried to do. Another technique is called positive reframing. And don't worry, I'll give you bullet points. I do here's how. I'll give you bullet points on how to begin reframing your negative thinking. So another way is called positive reframing, which involves looking for the positive aspects in a difficult situation. So, for example, instead of focusing on the fact that you got laid off from work, your job, you can focus on the opportunity to find a new job that better fits your needs. So, another technique is mindfulness, which we started doing last week. Mindfulness is the practice of just being present and non-judgmental in the moment. This is incredibly helpful in managing negative thoughts because it allows us to just observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. We can simply notice them and then let them go. It's important to keep in mind that reframing negative thoughts isn't about denying or avoiding negative emotions. It's about finding balanced and just a new healthy perspective on them. It's also important to notice that it's a process. It's not a quick fix. It takes time and practice to change the way we think, but with time and effort, it's possible to shift towards a more positive outlook on life. Anyway, so here is why reframing negative thinking is important. First, negative thoughts can lead to feelings of sadness, anxiety, depression, which can negatively impact our overall well-being. So reframing negative thoughts can help to reduce the negative emotions that we have constantly, right? And then improve our moods. Second, negative thoughts can lead to self-doubt, low self-esteem, which can, when we constantly just focus on our weaknesses and mistakes, it can be difficult to feel good about ourselves. So reframing our thoughts can help to build self-confidence, self-worth, and so on and so forth. Third, negative thoughts can also just lead to negative behaviors such as procrastination, avoidance, self-sabotage, and just reframing negative thoughts can help to break these patterns and pave the way for a more positive, more productive behaviors. Lastly, negative thoughts can also influence our perception on reality, making it hard to see things objectively. So reframing them is very important and can help to just create a more balanced perspective and to see things in a more realistic light. In short, listen, just reframing negative thinking is important because it can help to improve our emotional well-being, build our confidence, promote positive behaviors, and create a more realistic perspective on life. So here is how we can begin. At least there are several ways to begin reframing negative thinking, but these are just a few that have worked for me. So first is to recognize the negative thoughts, right? The first step is reframing the negative thinking, is to become aware that we're having negative thoughts. This can be done by paying attention to our internal dialogue and noticing when we're being critical or negative towards ourselves or others. Two is to challenge the negative thoughts. Once you've recognized a negative thought, challenge it by asking yourself questions such as, is this thought helpful or unhelpful? I think I have a short video about how I do introspection. I used to do introspection that way in the past. It used to be long, it used to be tedious. But over the years, as I've began to master it, it's just faster for me. So just reframing the thoughts is important, right? Or just saying to yourself, is this thought based on fact or fiction? This can be helpful to see the thought in a different light and to question the validity of the thought. So the third way is just to reframe the thought. Once you've challenged the negative thought, reframe it in a more positive or more realistic way. For example, instead of thinking, I'll never be successful, you can reframe it as, I've had some setbacks, but I can learn from them and try again, which is what Giannis tried to do in his interview. And so four, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of just being present, non-judgmental, and in the moment. It can be helpful in managing negative thoughts because it allows you to observe them without getting caught up in them. You can simply just notice them and then just let them go. And then five, repeat the process. It takes time. It's not a one-time thing. It takes time. It takes practice. Just keep in mind that it's normal to have negative thoughts. So be kind to yourself and keep working on reframing them. Six, we started doing this last week. Seek professional help if you find yourself struggling with negative thoughts and it's affecting your daily life. It's important to seek professional help. A therapist or counselor can help you identify negative thought patterns and then provide you with strategies to reframe them and work through underlying issues that may be contributing to the negative thinking. Just remember that reframing negative thinking takes time and practice, but with patience and effort, you can learn to think more positively and improve your overall well-being. So it was great having you on this episode, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.